Oh, snap. Hi, guys, and welcome back to Ari Says Stuff. And as you can see by the title of the video, it's going to be about natural hair, which I know can be a touchy subject. It's not that it can be, it is, okay? And I just want to give a quick disclaimer before I do get into all of it. I personally don't think that people should tell Black women whether they should wear their hair natural, straight, wig, weave. No one should tell you how you should wear your hair, personally. But in this video, I am going to be talking about natural hair and just different reasons why I think that people or we see our natural hair as difficult and my personal opinion about that in general. Now, natural hair has always been super politicized for us, not by us, but our hair has always been made a hot topic for one reason or another.
And has been made illegal at points in history.
But wearing your natural hair for a long time has been looked down upon. And then the 60s, 70s rolled around and it became beautiful to rock your afros, to rock your natural hair in the state that it comes in. A little bit, rounded out a bit, a little sheen, afro sheen, but still wearing your natural hair the way that it grows out of your head, right? That was a part of the Black Power movement, the Black Panther Party, just embracing who you are and your Blackness. There were a lot of examples of celebrities, of activists who rocked it and made it cool for the masses. And then fast forward a decade or two, and the relaxers started coming back into popularity, and people started relaxing their hair in droves. It really wasn't so common to see people rocking their afros anymore. And even at times having other Black people tell you that you need to, do something to your hair so that you can look presentable and go out into the world. And then, of course, you have the rise of the natural hair movement again, but it was a little bit different this time. It more so came from the internet. There were blogs, there were YouTube channels. I mean, I remember watching people like Dear Natural 85, just different YouTubers teaching Black women with natural hair how to take care of their hair and embrace the way their hair grew out of their head. You had this concept that I'd never heard of called the big chop and the idea of transitioning. A ton of Black women started participating in this so that they could go natural. And then, of course, we also saw the influence of celebrities that were rocking their natural hair and making it cool. I mean, there always have been people that embraced natural hairstyles like Alicia Keys, but it was a lot more prominent around this time. And another thing that I really noticed, because I went natural when I was 12, so I've been natural for over half of my life now. But from when I first went natural to like a year or two later, I noticed there was like a boom in like natural hair products. The shelves started filling up so much with like different natural hair care lines. I remember it was like a couple of companies that were kind of doing it. And then just every couple of months, it was a new hair care line, a new hair care line, a new hair care line, which is awesome because now we had a lot more options the same way that people with straighter hair or wavy hair had. And even now, we do have like a little sliver in the section at like Target or like Walmart, but it is way bigger than what it used to be. But despite this, there are a lot of people recently that have been turning back to relaxers or even a new concept, or at least it's new to me, becoming a straight-haired natural, which from my understanding, it's basically a person who has natural hair. There's no relaxer or anything in their hair, but they are straightening it. Their hair is heat trained. They wear their hair flat ironed for majority of the time, basically.
I was under so much stress and turmoil, and I realized I was never doing it for me. I was doing it because everyone else thought that I should have my hair natural. Now, styling my hair with heat never bothered me. It bothered all these people on the internet. And I finally got on that Raven energy, and I was like, I don't care. Are my curls popping? Absolutely not. But can I do my hair in 15 minutes every day? Yes. Everyone was so quick to be like, your hair is heat damaged. I don't see my hair as damaged. I think it's really healthy. It grows very quickly. I see my hair more as heat trained, and I'm cool with that. Is my texture compromised? Yes, I'm okay with that.
And I saw someone say that that's basically just heat damage, which, I mean, they're not wrong. It kind of is, but if someone's goal is to actively attain heat damage so that their hair is heat trained or so that they can become a straight hair natural, then I don't see anything wrong with it if that's what their goal is. But a lot of people are starting to feel like our natural hair is hard to maintain, especially when it's of a tighter texture. And I agree and disagree, but before I get into that, I do want to get into some of the reasons as to why people feel this way. The first one would be the societal pressures. For a lot of us, especially if you're on social media, especially if you're a younger person coming into yourself, trying to figure out what your style is, how you want to look, a lot of the Black women that we look up to tend to have a certain look, which there's nothing wrong with it. I think that it's beautiful, but it's not often that we see Black women wearing their natural hair in their natural state whenever they are doing things, whenever they're going to events, or even like a lot of times when it's our birthdays, it's like, okay, we need to do something to our hair, get our hair straightened, do something because that is kind of seen as being more put together in a sense. When we look at our favorite celebrity, our favorite musician, actor, or even if you go online, I went on Pinterest just to see what would come up. And I typed beautiful Black woman. And literally the first 3 images they were all beautiful Black women, gorgeous, but they all had straight hair of some sort, whether wig, weave, flat iron, I don't know. But even though I do think that style is awesome, there isn't really a ton of representation when it comes to natural hair in media. And at times we even have other Black women telling us that directly they don't want to see us in our natural hair when we're going places. If you guys have seen that video about the Black woman who said you cannot wear your natural hair to her event, then you know what I'm talking about.
And there's this whole battle, natural hair versus wigs or weaves. What's your take on it?
Your natural hair is good for church programs. Your natural hair is good for when you want to pick your kids at school.
Oh, wow.
Don't bring your natural hair to my event. I have natural hair, but I'm wearing a wig. But I don't have to. I can wear my natural hair if I want to go out. If I'm going to the beach, now I can wear my natural hair. It's good for the beach. If I'm going to church, it's okay. Do you get what I'm saying? If I'm going to pick maybe going to play with my niece, it's cool. If I'm in my house, it's okay. But why would I want to wear a nice ass dress, expensive dress, expensive heels? At least I'll do ponytail. At least. Like, but when you do natural hair, you're wearing a nice dress. I'm looking at the dress up. I just look at the face, and they do one thing. They do one thing where they pay me. They will not do that small makeup and say you're a minimalist. No, no,
Chloe.
no.
When you constantly have this message perpetuated to you by other Black women, by outside factors, it can definitely make you feel like, well, dang, are they right? Like maybe I shouldn't be wearing my natural hair. Maybe it isn't good to go out, especially on special occasions or to events with the hair that grows out of my head. And like I mentioned before, there is a lack of representation for tighter textures. There's a lot of people that feel like the natural hair movement kind of shifted from being liberating and being a way for Black women to learn to care for our hair and to represent ourselves online to being oversaturated with looser hair textures, which I think that both hair textures are equally beautiful. But I mean, we have to admit that one of them is overly represented over the other, and that is the looser texture. Like, for example, with the 4C hashtag. Now, when it comes to hair texture, that's really nuanced. Hair is so individual. It's hard to kind of pinpoint, okay, you have this hair texture, you have that hair texture, because then there's other factors. Well, yeah, we have the same hair texture, but
in this section of my head, it's 4B, and over here it's 4A, but I also have high porosity hair, but you have low porosity hair. So it's like,
it's hard to compare your hair to anybody else's. But when it comes to trying to get close, for example, if you have something that is close to 4C hair, then you want to try to find others that have something that's as close as possible to that. There's been a lot of complaints about the 4C hashtag or 4C videos being overtaken by people who don't have 4C hair, simply because they know that people with a hair texture that is 4C or close to 4C, they're desperate to find products that are going to work. They're desperate to find routines that are working and other people that have hair like theirs. So they know if they put this hashtag or put it in the title of their video, it's going to get clicks. But then you go and watch the video and realize, okay, you're kind of pandering and not really helping the people that this was meant to serve. And then it doesn't help when we go to watch TV shows or movies and we see other Black people, Black women, Black girls in the show, and we're like, okay, awesome, we're gonna get a representation. You go and watch it, and it'll be girl with loose curled hair. And of course, as Black people, we do come in different shades, different sizes, different hair textures. So that's fine. If it was varied, then that would make sense. But when it happens time and time and time again, it starts to feel like it's intentional. Like they do not want to see Black women with a tighter hair texture represented in media. And that can be really detrimental to the mind when it comes to feeling like you can't really be who you truly are because it's not seen as beautiful, or people really don't want to see that. That doesn't feel good. Another aspect of this conversation is, and I can relate to this at times, a lot of Black women feel like when we wear our natural hair, we tend to look childish. Like, natural hairstyles can make you look a little bit more youthful, at least from our perception. And sometimes when you're going for a more adult or grown look, it's easier to turn to different styles, maybe silk presses or wigs or weaves, to try to achieve that look, because that's what has been presented as grown up. You know what I mean? Last but not least, when it comes to wearing our natural hair, a lot of times we are losing out on opportunities when it comes to work, jobs, our professions, because we're wearing our natural hair. We all know that person, or maybe you are that person, who will wear straight hair to the interview so that they can get the job. And while that is like a funny joke online, it's also really sad that Black women feel like they have to be someone else or change something about our hair in order to get opportunities. And for a lot of Black women, it goes beyond the job interview. There are many cases of Black women and Black girls being excluded from different opportunities in the workforce, in sports, and in general because they wore their natural hair or natural hairstyles. And of course, we do have the Crown Act now, but it's still happening to this day. And so I can understand, and I'm not going to blame a Black woman for feeling like I'm not going to wear my natural hair because I know that it's not going to get me the opportunities that I'm looking for. I'm not going to judge. Now, in my personal opinion, I feel like when it comes to natural hair being difficult, I think that it can be, but also it's not. Let me explain. I feel like natural hair can definitely be difficult to maintain or to wear, depending on your circumstances, depending on what your lifestyle is like, depending on, maybe you're a mom and it's just easier to wear your hair straight because in the morning you don't have to do too much to it. You can just take off your bonnet, comb out your wrap, and go. You know what I mean? Or maybe depending on your profession, you don't have much time to do your hair. There's different factors as to why maybe wearing your hair straight is a lot easier. I think that it can also be difficult to wear our natural hair when we have unrealistic expectations of our natural hair as well. Now, everybody's hair texture is different, like I mentioned, and people that even have similar or even the same hair textures, their hair can be completely different. But I do think that the natural hair movement has kind of sold us a false narrative. A lot of times we are told our hair needs to be defined. Our hair needs to hang whenever we're wearing it out. Our hair needs to just feel and look a certain way. It needs to look shiny. Curls need to be popping. And for some hair textures, that is not realistic. For some people, they can put all the product in their hair. They can do all the washing and goes they want to do, and their curls still won't be super defined, right? So you're like, like my hair doesn't cooperate. It doesn't work. When I try to do my hair, it goes up instead of hanging down and looking long. We have shrinkage. And obviously, when you have shrinkage, your hair isn't going to look its length, and that can be frustrating. And unfortunately, a lot of the content that we've consumed that contained natural hair portrayed natural hair in a certain way, and our hair a lot of the times doesn't do that. We're trying to put weights at the end of our hair so that when it dries, it can be longer. And to a certain extent, we can achieve that look. You can, hold your ends and blow dry it and do certain things, but our hair can only do so much. And we do have to be, especially for us that have tighter hair textures, we do have to be realistic about the way that our hair looks and what our hair can do. Our idea of our hair being done, sometimes that idea has to change. And that's something that I'm struggling with myself. I struggle wearing my natural hair out because I do have a ton of shrinkage. My hair, when it's straightened or pulled out, is down my back. But when it's natural in its natural state, it's up here. And that has been so frustrating for me. And I just couldn't put my finger on like, why? Like, why is my hair not doing what it's supposed to do when in reality, it is doing what it's supposed to do? My natural hair is meant to shrink. My natural hair is meant to grow outward more than down. And I had taught myself and got it in my head that there was something wrong with it when in reality, I just was looking at it in the wrong way. So whenever I would try to do my hair and wear my hair out and it wouldn't look like a girl whose hair is maybe like 3A or 3B, I would tell myself that I wasn't meant to wear my hair out. I think that sometimes in order to accept or in order to be able to wear our natural hair out, we have to change our mindset and the way that we look at it. You wearing your natural hair in its natural state, just with your leave-in conditioner or your moisturizer, your oils, whatever, your hair is done. The same way someone with straight hair can go outside and not put a comb or brush to their head and their hair is done and they look presentable, we have that same luxury. But if you are trying to achieve a different look and make your hair look a certain way, then it is going to be a lot more difficult to wear your natural hair because it's going to be more time consuming and just overall frustrating if it doesn't cooperate. But yeah, what do you guys think about this video? I would love, love, love to hear your opinions on this topic. I know it's a very touchy topic, but I want to see if anybody else has struggled with this, if they can relate to this kind of mental struggle when it comes to your natural hair. Go ahead and leave that comment in the comment section down below so I can respond and we can have a discussion about this. But I want to say thank you so much for watching this video. I can't wait to see you guys next week when I post my next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye.